That was a real conversation, and that homeowner started with a wall of suspicion. Hello?
Yeah, I got your letter. First off, who gave you the right to look into my private business? How did you find out I was behind on my mortgage?
You feel violated because I sent you a letter and you are worried, obviously, with all the questions that you have asked me. So let me try to answer them for you as best as I can, one by one. Would that be okay?
Fine, answer them. But this public record stuff is nonsense. Are you saying all my finances are just out there for anyone to see? Explain how you got that information.
You most likely behind on your mortgage for at least 3 months. And therefore, the service company or the bank has filed a judgment through the courts. And once the judgment is filed, it becomes public record. Once county clerk office has received and registered your foreclosure judgment, it is now become available for any individual who's interested enough to search for it, or for someone like myself, who I'm a real estate broker that helps people in difficult situations regarding their homes, would receive that information very easily through the multiple listing service and text records that we have in our portal. Does that answer your question?
So you're telling me it's all coming from the county clerk's office and some portal? Seems pretty invasive. But
yes,
honestly,
sir. Absolutely, it feels invasive. Well, what I can put your mind at rest that your average Joe probably does not know. In order for someone to actually know that, they have to be actively looking to find that out by at least searching for your address. So please rest assured that my intentions here are to see if you have any need for assistance regarding your situation. Would you mind if I'd ask you a few questions?
I haven't been able to make my last 3 payments. And the bank is Harbor Federal. It's all just too much.
Okay, I understand. You said Harbor Federal is the bank?
Yeah, Harbor Federal.
Okay. Are they the same name that you've been making your payments to, or is there a servicing company?
I've always sent my payments to Harbor Federal.
Okay, that's normal. That is normal. That's okay. May I ask you, when did you purchase your home?
Bought this place back in 2017.
Okay. That's almost 10 years ago. Okay, and do you remember what kind of a mortgage did you receive?
I think it was a fixed rate. My monthly payments haven't changed or anything. They've been the same the whole time.
Since you've purchased the home, do you remember if you ever refinanced?
No line of credit.
All right, perfect. Wonderful. Okay, now let me go in a little bit so I can understand what the situation is. So, what happened that you came to a point where you are behind for 3 months?
Look, I lost my job back then, and it's been a real struggle since. I'm behind because I just didn't have the money. I mean,
Yeah,
what did you think?
I understand. And what kind of work did you do?
I was a construction worker, mostly renovations and things like that. It's tough finding work right now. Everything dried up.
Okay, so are you self-employed, or are you working for someone else or for a union?
Mostly freelance, working for different contractors on different jobs. Is there anything with the equity that can help me catch up?
I wouldn't recommend that, but I don't want to jump the gun, so I would be happy to answer this question for you in a few minutes. So let's talk about your situation. So do you think there's job loss is to stay here for the long term? You don't think that tomorrow, next week, and a month from now, you will get a job?
Nah, it's just me. My construction gigs were my only income. The job market is so slow right now, I honestly don't know. I'm actively looking, but I haven't found anything stable yet.
I understand. Maybe I didn't ask you correctly, but the question I'm trying to say is, do you think that you're not going to get a construction work anymore, that this is a permanent situation for you?
I hope it's not permanent, but it's definitely hard right now. I'm used to being able to pick up jobs, but there just isn't as much work out there.
Okay. Have you been filing your taxes in the last few years?
Yeah, I've been filing my taxes as a subcontractor. I had a pretty good run before the work slowed down. Does that make a difference in terms of what options I have?
Well, not just yet. I'm just wondering, I'm trying to gauge whether or not your job situation can change. Because if you can get a job soon, there might be an option for you to request and file for a loan modification. But again, that's if you pick up work again. Have you spoken to the bank about your situation at all during these past 3 months?
No, I haven't spoken to them yet.
So
I was hoping
when they call you, you don't answer the phone?
I know it sounds bad, but when they call, I just get so stressed out and I don't know what to say to them. So I just don't answer.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I understand that. I mean, a lot of people, yeah, because you don't know what to say and you're afraid to say the wrong thing. So you just ignore. But it's better if you try and do talk to them. I mean, we're kind of a little bit further into the judgment, but you do have some options. In New York, we have certain rules and conditions that the bank has to follow to proceed with the actual foreclosure. One of the things that I think it's very, very good, and thank God that we have it here, is that they are obligated to take you through what's called a mandatory conference. And what that means is that there's a conference that is between you, the bank's attorney, and a judge or a mediator in court. And their job is to make sure that the bank negotiates in good faith with you, and that basically the judge or the mediator, what they're trying to accomplish is that they're trying to come to some kind of a solution because they don't really want the foreclosure to happen. So the court's job is to monitor and make sure that the negotiations and the conversations are being handled properly and in good faith. The question is this: what is your goal? Is your goal to fight tooth and nail to keep the house, or is your goal to relieve yourself from the trouble and entertain the idea that maybe selling the house is a better option, especially if there's a good amount of equity there that will turn out to be something that you can pick up your life and maybe even buy something? Which part are you leaning toward?
well, if there's equity, I need to figure out a way to make that work for me. I don't want to lose my home, but if this is going to keep going badly, I need to be realistic. What are my next steps?
Well, let me just touch on what you just mentioned. It's important that you understand that in order for you to capitalize on your equity, that will require for you to sell the home. In order for you to keep the home, that will require you to have a steady income where you can apply for a loan modification.
It makes sense, but I still don't have a steady income right now. So what would my next step be, realistically? Is there something else?
Exactly. So because you don't have an income, counting on a loan modification is probably not something that we can count on. Okay, so let me just tell you this. I don't want you to jump into decision making like, okay, I'm going to sell the house without looking into the possibility that maybe there's a chance that you might be able to keep the house, right? Is it a one family or a two family home?
It's just a one family home.
Okay.
And you're right. I don't want to sell if there's another way, but I'm just not sure how to prove a steady income if I don't have one right now. What if I started picking up small gig work? Would that matter at all?
Well, as long as you have a consistent income that the bank can look at and take that number and see if they can make that work, then there's a possibility there. Again, loan modifications are never guaranteed to be approved, but you are dealing with the same lender that you currently have. And lenders are not particularly interested in taking over properties and foreclosing. However, their main objective is they need to get paid, right? They need to get their money back plus interest. That's what the businesses their business is all about, right? So if you that's why the beginning of a conversation was the questions that I asked you were more specific about your work. So when it's a temporary hardship, right, things can work out. When it's an endless hardship, we're not giving the bank anything to work with, right? Because they need to see how much money you make on a monthly basis so that they can actually see if they can change your loan terms, create a new payment for you that is actually going to be something that you can handle and you can afford. And therefore, the outcome is that you're going to get to keep your home, right? But if that's not the situation, now you're facing a problem that is like, okay, well, I have all this money as equity in the home, and I can capitalize on that if I sell, or I'm just going to let it drain out slowly but surely until the bank is going to foreclose on the home. So that's where the main question is. What are your thoughts?
Well, if loan modifications aren't a sure thing and I need to prove income, maybe I should focus on getting some smaller work first. I could start looking for those gig jobs right now. If I could show some consistent income, do you think that would help me talk to the bank then? Or should I still consider selling?
Well, I think that you should talk to the bank regardless, because ignoring them is not helping you. Because you want to demonstrate that you are actively involved in trying to solve your problem. Here's what I recommend if you're interested, and I'd be happy to assist you with that. If you can collect a bunch of documents, tax returns, show some consistency up until when you were working, like pay stubs, right? Same idea like when you were applying for a mortgage. I know it was a long time ago, almost 10 years ago, but the idea is basically the same. A helpful thing is take a month and monitor your expenses.
Okay, I can collect those documents and track my expenses. Is this all something I can do to show the bank I'm trying? What do you think about getting the small gig work too? Should I start doing that?
Well, you should get work regardless, especially if you want to save your home. I mean, that's not even a question. If I'm honest with you, you need to get work. I mean, how are you planning to continue to survive day-to-day life?
Yeah, you're right. I need to bring in something. Focusing on getting that small gig work right now is probably the smartest thing for survival. Just to have something coming in. If I can pull those documents together and track my expenses, I'll have something to discuss with the bank. Hopefully that shows them I'm trying to make this work. Do you think that's a reasonable plan?
I don't know if it's a reasonable plan, because right now we have a situation. Your account has been already filed in court and recorded in the county clerk's office. So basically, your foreclosure process had already started. So we don't have an infinite time to try and find and look around and things like that. So my recommendation is always have a plan A, plan B, and even plan C if we have to. So here's what I would do if I was in your situation. The first thing is you really need to pick up the phone and speak to the bank. You need to talk to them. You need to tell them what happened to you. Okay. Why did you lose your job? Why haven't you found a job yet? Just keep in mind that they record everything, so be very cautious when you speak to them. What I would do now, if you would want me to help you, which I'm happy to do, I could speak to the bank on your behalf from the perspective of just trying to understand from their part what their plans, how quickly they're planning to move in their process. Some banks take a very long time. Some banks move quickly. The fact that you have an FHA loan, which I would need to verify first, also have certain rules, certain restrictions. Some work to your advantage, other may work for the bank's advantage. So we don't know all of that thing. Now, I think it would be probably even beneficial to you if you would know what your house is worth and what's your total debt, right? Would that be something that you're interested in finding out?
Yeah, I'm interested in that. Knowing what the house is worth and how much I owe would be really helpful right now. I guess the first step is definitely calling the bank, stressing that this is a temporary problem, and getting those documents ready would be smart. If you're still available to call the bank on my behalf, I'd really appreciate that.
What I suggest we do, since you wanted to find out what your house is worth, we'll schedule a meeting where I come into your home. I will take a look at your house. In the same time, we can place a call to the bank and at least find out where they're at and what options they'll say that they have on the table for you. How does that sound?
That sounds good. If we meet in person, I can officially give you authorization and we can both talk to the bank then. Plus, you can check out the house and help me figure out what it's worth. When's a good time for you to come over?
I think that's the first thing that you would want to do, because at least you're going to have the information that you need to figure out if for some reason you'll come to a decision that you want to sell the house. So at least you know what potentially you can walk away with. So in my calendar, I have Wednesday available around 1:30. Does that work for you?
Wednesday at 1:30 works for me. I'll make sure to have all those documents ready and have my expenses noted. Looking forward to getting this sorted out. Thanks again for your help.
Yes, absolutely. Very happy to see if I can help you come to a decision first of all, and then whatever decision you make, help you accomplish that decision. Just so we have the best use of our time, have this judgment available at your disposal, for our meeting, as well as the last mortgage statement that you got. This way we have a phone number and a loan number and everything ready to make the call to the lender and start getting some information and start building a picture of what's the next steps that we can take to help you with your choice. Sounds good?
Got it. I'll make sure to have the foreclosure judgment and the last mortgage statement ready before our meeting. That should give us everything we need to make the call. Looking forward to it.
Yes, me too.
I appreciate you being willing to help. I'll keep in touch and I'll see you on Wednesday.
That was a real conversation, and that homeowner started with a wall of suspicion because the chaos of foreclosure makes you feel like the whole world is watching. But once we got the facts on the table, we started to build a map. And if you're in the same situation, don't wait for the bank to call you. click the link below and let's get your audit started.